Hi, this is Kathy Zimmerman with another installation of Vendor Voices. With me today is Laura Netterbrock, and she is from Mission Mobile. Welcome, Laura.
Hello, how's it going, Kathy?
Hey, it's great. I want to take just a second to thank you for all of your support for ABOS. Um, I know you've been with ABOS for a long time as a partner, as a good friend, as a consultant, and we really appreciate all of your support. So I just wanted to say that before we get started.
Absolutely. I am privileged, actually. I love ABOS and everybody there. I just feel like it's just a family.
Oh, absolutely a family,
Yeah.
definitely. Yeah. So Laura is the Director of Strategic Partnerships at Mobile Mission. I'm sorry, Mission Mobile, excuse me. She has 8.5 years of experience in the special vehicle industry, and this is going to be your 8th conference. Oh my
Mm-hmm.
gosh, that's
Yep.
hard to believe.
Yep.
Laura has worked in sales for over 30 years, but she actually calls herself a teacher at heart. She is passionate about the relationship she has built over the years with the ABOS community and excited to continue those relationships now through Mission Mobile.
Yep.
And we are so, again, so thankful for that. So let's talk a little bit about Mission Mobile.
Okay.
Who are they and what do they do?
Okay. So Mission Mobile is, the full name is Mission Mobile Medical because kind of our primary builds that we do have been in the medical industry, kind of leads to, what's going on out there right now in the world. And but they started just a couple of years ago, so they are a startup organization, and it really came to fruition because of some of the supply chain issues that were going on, as well as just this idea that our founder had that, why are people waiting a year to 18 months for their vehicles when there's an inventory of pre-owned RVs out there in the world, and are some of the platforms that are used on medical vehicles and bookmobiles and some other mobile, platforms and needs. So kind of came up with this idea to procure these vehicles that are already out there and completely gut them and turn them into what our clients need. And at the time that they came and they started, the need that was the greatest was the mobile medical community, the need for mobile testing, vaccinations, just trying to gain access to care out into the community. And obviously, when I discovered Mission, I was really drawn to their servant leadership that they have as part of, one of their core values, and really about creating the best place to work. So it's kind of all of these things, but primarily Mission has a very specific process, and that process leads to quicker build times and turnarounds and fewer supply chain interruptions like what we've been experiencing over the last couple of years. And it's worked out really well. And we know that, what we do probably isn't for everybody, and our platform probably isn't for everybody. But we've also, in all of this, have discovered, and when I came on board, always felt like training was a huge gap. So training is something else that we've really focused on this past year. And so we now have a program where when you procure a vehicle from us, you come to our location in Greensboro, and we have like this 2.5-day training where we go over safety. We have you drive the units. You're out on the production floor with the guys who built them, setting them up, tearing them down, all of those things. And then we get to do a fun little test at the end of it. But we also offer those classes to anybody who has a mobile unit. So if you need to if you've just turned over staff and your staff is just like, we've never driven a vehicle like this, and even though the vehicle may not be exactly the same, safety measures still are the same regardless. The having to do your walk around and making sure that, there aren't any leaks or liens or anything like that. So training is another really big thing that we have focused on. And then the third thing that we are focusing on is also service. And that's another gap that's been out there in the specialty vehicle world is not just the builders, but just in general, these specialty vehicles, these bookmobiles and mobile medical units aren't regular RVs anymore, right? They're not regular trucks anymore. They're something special. So we have really decided to partner with our clients more, whether they built with us or not, and provide also a service plan. So we'll service vehicles whether we built them or not, and we will help arrange service for your vehicle whether we built them or not. So it's more of a partnership organization, and it's a lot different than other builders out there. So it's kind of cool. I think I probably answered like several of your questions in that whole thing, but that's who we are.
All right, that's awesome. I mean, that's like full, total, complete service, anything you would ever really want. That's amazing, because a lot of times, as vehicles are delivered and you get a quick run through of this is where everything is, and here it is. Here's the keys. Good luck.
Here's the keys. Good luck.
Good luck. Yeah. I remember when mine was delivered, and that's, thank goodness we took good notes, so that's awesome.
It is definitely a thing that I always felt strongly with. And like I said, that kind of is like the teacher in me. I feel like educating our clients, number one, is just a safety thing. It creates a better experience for you, and you're less likely to cause damage to your vehicle if you truly understand how it works and how to drive it, and things that you have to look out for. So just the pure safety of it. And then you save money on budget because you probably have less damage to your vehicle. I mean, how many times have you heard people saying that they took an awning off of a vehicle, or they took a turn a little too tight and they end up with their wheel, the rear wheels in the ditch. I mean, there's just so many things that happen. And I think the better training and the more training you have, you eliminate a lot of that. And that's one of the reasons why we've decided to make this a huge focus.
So would you say that all of that combined is what sets you apart from everybody else?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. I feel like we're not even doing the same thing as everybody else. Our pre-owned vehicles are what we do, and that's why we're able to build a lot faster, because we're not waiting for chassis to show up. We're not waiting for air conditionings and generators and all of those other things. They all are already on the vehicle. So we use it. And then also, if you think about helping eliminate your carbon footprint, not eliminating it, but make it smaller, instead of building something brand new and waiting for it to come off of a production line. I mean, look at how many vehicles are already out there that are just sitting there and not being used for the purpose that they were originally built for. So it's kind of a brilliant idea, and it's worked out fantastic. I mean, we're since Mission's so new, they hadn't built any bookmobiles until I started working for them. So we have a couple in production right now, which is very exciting. And we still have a lot to learn, and but it's an exciting time, because I feel like they see their clients as partners, and it's not, here are the keys, good luck. We are, what happens after you take delivery of the vehicle is actually more important than actually building the vehicle. So and we know how important that is, and that's a huge focus in our organization.
Perfect. So do you have a favorite kind of vehicle? And I bet I can guess what it is, but do you have a favorite kind of vehicle?
Like the ones that we build? Oh, well, yeah, I mean, bookmobiles are always, anything that's education related, is going to be something that I love. And I like the fact that on this RV platform, it's not just about having thousands of books everywhere. It's about how you're utilizing the space, how you can really extend your branch. And, it's about having, one of them has a slide out, so you can kind of open up the space a little bit, where you can have story time and programs and places for the kids to sit down. And I mean, obviously that's definitely where my love is the bookmobiles, and also like the mobile preschools. We haven't built one yet, but I have a lot of history with that, and that's something that's near and dear to me as well.
Yeah, I always thought a mobile preschool would be just amazing to have.
Yeah,
Yeah, that would be
yeah.
cool. Yeah. So what kind of options are available then on your vehicles? Like vehicle styles, you talked about using RV platforms a lot.
Hmm. Yep.
Are there other styles that you use?
Not right now.
No?
I know that we do plan on expanding, but one of the things that I really like about the leaders at Mission are they're very strategic. They make sure that they figure out their platform before they move on to something new. So in all of these vehicles, no matter who the builder is, it always involves a lot of engineering, a lot of design work, and a lot of time. And every time you change a platform, a body, a chassis, the fuel type, electric, battery operated, whatever, you have a lot of engineering time involved in all of those things. So you change one thing and it changes engineering altogether. So they're very strategic in making sure that they figure out, we have this 24-foot platform. Let's figure this one out. What are all the things we can do with it? All of the engineering that goes with it. Then we have a 29-footer, which is kind of the more popular one that seems to be working good with the bookmobiles. And then we have a 38-footer. And then there's also the models, and those models change, right? So then you have the
Mhm.
engineering and involved in all of those. So once we have what we feel like is going to be like a really good model for the bookmobile world, then we'll probably stick with that one for a while. But we're also open to changing and understanding that the market's going to change, and we have to be able to change with it if we're going to grow. So I think that if the project is right and it makes sense, they'll probably, do something new. We do plan on, right now we're doing, battery operated systems where you have the
Mhm.
gas engine, but then you have the battery running. That's, something that's been done for a few years now. For Mission, though, I mean, they're like, we know we got to be able to provide this. Not everybody wants a generator. So that's something new for them, and they've got it figured out, and we started building those as well. So we're able to offer those battery systems in lieu of a generator. And yeah, I think that our main platforms are going to be really popular. And I also think that eventually we will probably lean into maybe doing some things on buses, which is kind of fun. We built a STEM vehicle on an old school bus, which was a lot of fun.
Mm.
So yeah, we're definitely open to new things as long
Sure.
as it makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah. So what kinds of options do you have then for interiors? Do you do modular? Do you do shelving?
Um, well, so far, since we're still new in the whole bookmobile thing,
Mhm.
it's a little bit different. But I think that what we do is because of our speed, we kind of have like our standards. We have our standard flooring, our standard walls, and that's part of the reason why we're able to move so fast, is because we've got that part figured out. So obviously we do install the Acore shelving. So we use that, the aluminum Acore shelving. We don't build our own shelving. We let, Don knows what he's doing. So we'll just stick with using that.
Sure.
And, but then, choosing the color on the shelving to get that pop of color if you want to. Really good exterior graphics. We do full graphics wrap on the outside, and that's where
Oh.
like the real creativity will come through. Solid surface countertops or solid surface countertops. I mean, there's a few colors you can choose from, but that's the primary countertop
Mhm.
we use. And then the laminate cabinets, and then the flooring. That's all just, kind of the normal stuff. But where you can get real creative is with how you use the space, the colors that you choose for your shelving, but that exterior graphic is also a really big thing too.
Okay. And then so do you do options on the outside, like the TV screens and awnings and that kind of stuff?
Absolutely. So that's kind of the other nice thing about the RV platform, is that they already have awnings, and a lot of them already
Mhm.
have some small exterior TVs as well. So those compartments are already there, and we try to utilize everything that is already on it. Obviously, if the awning's in bad shape, we'll replace it. If the windshield is in bad shape, we replace it. We
Oh, sure.
do make sure that they're in good shape. But yeah, exterior TVs. We have put a really, really big TV on the outside of one. And that creates, we had to build a whole lot of structure on the other side of that to hold it in. But yeah, we will absolutely do things like that. Now, obviously when you choose to do things that are outside of, what's standard, it causes the lead time to go a little bit longer because then
Oh,
there's
sure.
more engineering and stuff. But yeah, we've done lots of cool stuff.
So, now that you're, into this and things are moving, are you seeing some fun trends coming in what people want in bookmobiles or what's out there and available?
Well, not with me as much. I think that since we're focusing a lot on our service and our training and our education, we haven't really gone after the bookmobile world probably as much as I probably would have liked to. And part of that is just, again, their caution. They want to make sure that they figure these, because the worst thing would be to like, fill up the bays with a bunch of bookmobiles and then they're trying to figure out, okay, well, how do we build these bookmobiles?
Oh,
So,
sure. Mhm.
so I think EV is always going to be something that's going to be a huge topic. And I know it's going to be a good topic here at ABOS this year. So going electric is something that I know is going to be a good topic and something to really talk about its limitations, as well as in situations where it does work really well, because EV isn't going to work, everywhere. So I think that's obviously a trend. The battery systems run power, that's a trend. Anything exterior where you can take your programming outside is popular. Ford Transits and Sprinters, those are still a really popular model. We haven't built on any of those yet, but I do believe that when I was doing some research, that the Sprinter probably may be the #1 platform these days.
Yeah,
People
I
seem to
would
be
agree with
going,
that. Yeah.
yeah, people seem to be shrinking. I think that there's still a use case for the big units, but it does seem that most people are like, okay, we need to downsize a little bit, be able to be a little bit more nimble, and those smaller units do definitely help with that.
Yeah, and I wonder with COVID and, and all that related to the pandemic, with the smaller vehicles, you can go, stop, set up, spread out,
Yep.
be more socially aware of who's where, rather
Yep.
than inside a big vehicle where everybody, let's face it, even with a 40-foot bookmobile, people inside, you're still right on top of each other.
Yeah,
So
it's still
that
tight.
yeah, it is still
Yeah.
very tight. Exactly.
There's
Exactly.
one thing I did like about our RV platform is that they have more width to them. They're a little bit wider. And in
Sure.
some cases, when you do use the slide out, obviously that opens up the space even more. So I think that's where the RV platform is very helpful in that case. And, you still at these days should limit how many people go on anyway.
Oh, yeah, we
But
do.
it does. Yeah, I think that's just going to be kind of the standard these days. But it is nice to be able to have a little bit more room to spread out, especially in climates like in Missouri and Iowa, where it can get cold, and in Colorado, where people still want to go on board and be where the heater is.
Keep where the heater is. Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So a couple times you've talked about production time.
Mhm.
What's an average time? And I know every situation is different, but what's an average time that people could expect from Mission Mobile in putting a vehicle together?
About 4 to 6 months.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
Yeah.
All
So
right.
so what we do is we pretty much start counting down from the day we get the deposit, and it's something that we are very, very focused on. I mean, our entire focus is making sure we are delivering when we say we're going to deliver. And what we're finding is the more focused we are and the more process driven we are, the faster we go. And then our customers are just like, wait a minute, we're not even like our graphics aren't even figured out yet, which is, actually has been that I think that ends up being kind of like the holdup sometimes, is making those, like the color decision on the bookshelves or the graphics, decision on the exterior. That ends up being the holdup, not the build itself anymore. So
Okay.
I think that when the owners, when Travis started this company, he was like, that was absolutely his #1 focus, is people should not be waiting the amount of time that they're waiting. There's got to be a better way to do this. And you had to think outside the box a little bit, and he did. And he found the right engineer and the right partners to get it going. And they are proving, because of course, when I started, I was a skeptic. I'm like, there's no way you're going to build them that fast. It's possible. It is absolutely possible, but you have to have a process to do it, and you have to stick to that process. If you start to sway too much from it, you start having those interruptions. So yeah, it's 4 to 6 months. It seems kind of amazing, but it's definitely doable.
Okay. That seems very doable to me. You know, when you hear some of the other lead times, you're like,
Yeah.
oh, okay, well,
Well, I mean, when
but
you have
that's
to wait
yeah,
anywhere from
for
9 months
pieces
to a
and
year
parts.
just for the chassis. I mean,
Yeah,
if you're waiting that long just for the chassis, then you have to get in the production line after it shows up. So
sure.
yeah, it's a real thing and it's a real
And it
problem.
makes
So
sense. Definitely,
yeah.
definitely. So how does Mission Mobile and you, specifically, how do you work with your clients? If I call you and say, Laura, I'm ready to purchase from you, what's our process?
So, well, I mean, usually there's a few more conversations before you're ready to purchase from me. But yeah, it's a conversation about how you plan to use your vehicle. Those are some of the first questions I'm going to ask. What is your program? What are the things that you want to do? And how many people do you want to have on board? Do you want to have people on board? Is it going to be just for books, or are you going to have, lesson plans and programming going on the inside? So all of those things matter because it has to do with, how the space is being used. And then other conversations will be around fuel type. Most of the platforms that we build on are gas engines, and then and they have gas generators. But if you don't want a generator, okay, is the battery option something that is going to be important to your organization? So those are all questions that you go through, and it's really coming down to building a unit that's going to work for you. I mean, I'm not using it. It's not how I
Mhm.
want it built. It's how you want it built. So but it has to still fit within the platforms that we currently build on. So that would be the other question I would be asking. Are you open to an RV platform? Is your organization okay with something that's pre-owned? So those are all questions, because sometimes people call and they don't realize that, the things that we do are on pre-owned chassis. So if that's a non-starter for some people, well then, okay, then I guess we're not the builder for you. But if in that case, and I think this actually did come up where a library just wasn't getting people bidding, or they were saying that it was going to take 18 months, and they're just like, oh my gosh. So when I finally got them on the phone, that was my question. Are you open to an RV platform that is pre-owned? And as long as that's there, then we can keep moving forward. And then I put it all together and I send you a quote that will kind of itemize everything from like what we're charging you for the chassis, what we're charging you for the upfit, the warranty charges, the service charges, all of those things are itemized. So you see, we're a very transparent organization. So you see everything. It's not just one number that you see, you kind of see everything that goes with it. And then send you some pictures and some concepts. We don't do a deep dive on the engineering on the front end. We kind of wait until, the project is moving forward, and then we go deep into the engineering at that point. So, but once we're good with that, I send you the quote. You do an e-sign on the quote and you say, yep, we're going to go forward. And then this is where the process really starts to get a little bit quick, because right after I get a signed quote, I send you what we call our master service agreement. You get the master service agreement, everybody reads it and everyone's good with it, and you sign it. Then I do an introduction to our finance group, and at this time it's Lindsay. She'll send you an invoice for the deposit. And the deposit, when we receive the deposit, is when like I said, is kind of when the clock starts ticking for us, because that's when they go and procure the vehicle for your project, because they actually do use that deposit for that vehicle. We're not using the deposits for our overhead and some other things. We're going to go buy your vehicle with that money. And then I have a meeting with you again to go over what our process is going to be moving forward. So what we'll cover in that meeting is me explaining that you have a project manager on the back end, and you'll be working with him. His name's Josh. So you'd be working with Josh, and Josh is going to work with you on your graphics, your shelving, sending you the engineer drawings, the layout, and kind of like that little bit of the back and forth that happens afterwards to kind of make sure that you can dial in your design.
Mhm.
So the project manager, handles it from that point forward. but obviously I'm always involved. I mean, you know, you can call me anytime, so I don't go anywhere. But the project manager on the back end, he's the one, that's his job. His job is to keep things moving. So you're probably gonna, you know, hear from him talking about technology, you know, what kind of technology you're gonna run. Do you already have a design for your graphics? Graphics is very often the holdup. So he'll want to get that dialed in as fast as possible.
Sure.
And then as we get closer to delivery, you start to work with our delivery part of our organization, our client service director. His name's Brad, and he'll work on your delivery with you. But then at that time, we're also going to talk to you about coming to Greensboro for training. So we're going to do your training. So it's a very set process, and there's a person who has their role and what they need to do to make that process smooth. And it starts with me, and it goes to Joshua, and then it goes to Brad, and then in there you have accounting who's sending you the invoices along the way. And yeah, it has been working very well. And the more we stay focused on that process, the more efficient we become, and it's worked really well.
Yeah, that sounds like, you know, a real hands-on, customer-oriented process. Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. I work with some great people. It's a great organization.
That's good to hear. That's good to hear. So is there anything else that I didn't ask that you want people to know about Mission Mobile?
Well, I know, you know, I'll be able to talk about this, you know, at the conference a lot, but I know that there's going to be some people who won't be at the conference that are going to watch this. So I think there's going to be a lot of people who already have bookmobiles or a specialty vehicle out there or a mobile preschool, and they're having a hard time getting things fixed on it. You know, whether it's getting it serviced for the generator or having a technician come in and fix something. So we do have service plan to help those folks. So whether we built it or not, we have a service plan for those people as well. And we're finding that in the mobile medical world that this has been a really big need. Like, we are legit having people asking us for this. I'm like, well, if the medical world is having it, bookmobile world must be having it too. So our client service director, it's basically a contract. You can do it annually. You can do it 2 years, 3 years, however long you want to do it. You can do it for the life of your vehicle if you wanted to, but it allocates a certain amount of money that goes towards service for that vehicle. And then we help arrange all the service that needs to be done. And this is the part of our organization that's only going to grow and expand, because we plan to eventually have service locations. Like, we have service on the east in Greensboro, obviously, but we also have a mobile road show where we have a husband and wife team that actually goes out and services vehicles for people who have service contracts with us.
Wow.
And then if it's something that he can't fix, then we find a shop to get it fixed. And we want to grow that side of the business. We're going to be looking for more technicians, more on the road, you know, like a road show type of thing, moving more in the Midwest, and then probably Texas, then maybe in Colorado, and then into Nevada and California. And because that is going to be such a big focus of our business, I just want people to know, it's coming. You know, we already are starting to do it. And if there's one thing I know, that the minute they start to focus on something here, it ends up being, it just comes to fruition. It happens because they make it happen. So service is going to be something that's going to be a real big focus for us. And then also the training and the education portion of it too. But I would say, aside from building vehicles, we also will offer a lot of other services that will help people in the mobile industry who have these vehicles, who need help getting them serviced and get things fixed on them when they break down.
All right.
Yeah.
So conference is in 60 days.
Oh my goodness.
Oh
I don't know
my
if
gosh.
I'm ready.
Yeah, I haven't packed yet. Start packing now. Yeah. So thank you so much for your time today. Lots of good
Absolutely.
information.
Yeah.
We're looking forward to seeing you in person in Scottsdale.
Yay.
Definitely in person. Yeah. So thank you very much. And
Thanks, Kathy.
we will see you soon.
All right. See you in Scottsdale.
Mm.
Bye.